says, so I don't know how true this is, but Corey Bender of On3 Sports, he writes for the Gators. He said, Tyrone Hopper, he spoke with his dad, and he said that a UCF player spit in his face, and he was about to walk away, which resulted in him shoving a player, and then he got ejected. So there's that's a little more context as to why that happened. Again, if you didn't see it, he got ejected for a punch. It was more of a shove, but I didn't really understand that. Should have been a 15-yard penalty, and that would have been it. But it is what it is. Trying to see if any quotes have came from the post-game conference so far. It doesn't look like they've hit the locker room yet, as a lot of players are still on the field. New coaching staff comes in. Thank goodness for Florida season's finally over. UCF gets their big win. I mean, this game meant a lot more to UCF than it did for Florida. Not saying that that's an excuse, but when when it comes to these bowl games, a huge factor is motivation and how much the two dudes want to play. And UCF just wanted to play more. Florida wanted to in the first half, but UCF just wanted a little bit more in the second half. Florida, what was the halftime score? 10-9. And then they just nothing could get on offensively. There was so many times where Emory Jones missed a dude wide open down the field. Whittemore on the trick play underthrows his guy. So we'll see. We'll see what the future's like going forward. I'm optimistic about Napier. I like the hire. As I'm seeing Jet drop a comment, he said ULL's quarterbacks this year accounted for a ninth of their rushing yards, about 340. I don't think Napier's looking for a dual threat like Tebow type of mold. Yeah, one thing that I do know about Napier, or I've heard, should say, is that Napier doesn't really have like a specific offense. He navigates and he moves to whatever's needed, So Rich said more being a dual threat, he'll navigate to whatever that offense needs to be. And if Miller's the guy, then Miller will be, he'll change the offense for that too. So, I mean, the dude has a pretty good track record. Everything that I've seen, no one's said anything bad about the guy. And Florida wanted normal. Florida wanted a guy that could come in that wasn't awkward in the media, not anybody like McElwain or Mullen. They wanted a guy that could, Scott Strickland wants a person that goes to baseball games, to softball games, to basketball games, and is a part of, the university, a part of the student body. And Napier looks like he's that guy. But, time will tell. So we'll see. I'm not, he's hiring a staff. The staff looks good. Corey Raymond from LSU was a huge get. So, if he's able to get a pipeline of defensive backs like he did at LSU, I mean, Florida has, had a pretty good recent history of defensive backs. They just haven't been good once they get most of them to the NFL compared to LSU. So you have two guys, Napier and Raymond, who have a nice pipeline from Louisiana. Raymond wanted to get an interview for the LSU job, never got an interview from the LSU job. Raymond leaves LSU, so that dynamic between Florida and LSU is interesting. And then if you add another level, according to reports, Brian Kelly wanted an interview for the Florida job and was never even they didn't even consider him because Strickland wanted Napier and they had one interview and that was it. So that'll be really interesting to see going forward what that'll be like. Yeah, so this was from, if you guys didn't see, this is from The Athletic. This was written from, I think, Bruce Feldman. I think this was mid-November when this came out. Reason why SEC coaches said this team was soft and disciplined and doesn't play hard is because it's true, yeah. And it starts up top, I mean, what you allow will continue to happen. And this was a team that, my good Lord, how many penalties did you see from this Florida team? There was one drive, UCF had, I keep wanting to say UFC. Central Florida had one drive where the ball bounced off on the front line. Florida, I don't know how they missed the ball. They run right by it. UCF recovers it. And I think right after that, there was two. Dexter gets the personal foul, and then there's a pass interference. That's 30 yards. The ball moves straight into field goal range, and then I forget what UCF did right after that. So many false starts. That was a recurring issue all year long, especially anytime Florida was away from home. False starts were a big issue. No one was more glaring than good Lord, the Kentucky game when they had, what was it, eight false starts. So hopefully Napier fixes that. And because you can't, it's hard to be really good teams when you shoot yourself constantly in the foot over and over again. Johnson drops in. Kitna, another backup quarterback for Florida. He says he's really good having the coach by his father was a professional quarterback. Yeah, I think he's a little far down the depth chart because remember you still have so you have Miller coming in, you have Anthony Richardson, and you have Del Rio. So I think Kitna more than likely will probably transfer out. If he does stay, he'll probably never see the field. My opinion. So I'm not sure what Kitna will do at quarterback. As I'm watching this Titans 49ers game, and Titans won. But yeah, Florida comes out. They didn't really. It seemed like from a lot of the quotes before the game that a lot of players wanted to play. Damian Pierce being one of them, Valentino being one of them. He was a really late scratch. Literally moments before kickoff. Zachary Carter didn't play. The defensive line played well. I wish I would have seen more of Damian Pierce. And then he never got any touches in the second half. Again, he had 8 carries in the first quarter, 13 total. So he had 3 in the second quarter and then 3 for the entire second half when he was the guy that was the reason Florida scored Florida's first touchdown. They went right down the field. And Damian Pierce is going to be a dude that he's going to ball out in the NFL. He'll be a second, third round pick. If he goes to a good team with a decent offensive line, he'll be. I think he'll be a really, really, really good running back. But wasted year for the coaching staff and how they used Damian Pierce. Pretty much just like a lot of what this year was. We know that Emory Jones is not the guy. Anthony Richardson has to be the dude going forward. The only question is the dude's health. And how good, how healthy can he be? What that issue is and how can it be fixed? Because, he's such a big dude and, him being such a quick, twitchy athlete, if those issues can be fixed, whether it's strength and conditioning, whether it's, I don't know exactly what it is, but whatever it is, for Florida, hopefully that issue gets resolved. So we shall see. Williams says, hit that like button. Thank you. I'm glad Napier didn't keep any of Mullen's staff because even the coach Savage, he preached not dropping the rope and don't quit. This team did the exact opposite. Yeah. Yeah, usually when a new guy comes in, it's very rare that you ever see any guys stay. Specifically the strength and conditioning coach. The strength and conditioning coach is usually the guy that's usually eye to eye with the head coach, and Savage probably doesn't have any previous relationship with Napier, and Napier probably already has this guy from Louisiana. So I know a lot of Florida fans wanted to see Coach Savage. I know a lot of players wanted to keep Coach Savage, but that's not really how the business works. It's all about relationships, and your strength coach is probably the most important hire one of the most important hires that head coach will make. So Coach Savage isn't no longer going to be there, and Napier got his own guy. As Napier continues to fill out his own staff. Staff looks decent so far. We get the USC receivers coach, Corey Raymond, DB's coach, probably have a say-so in the defense as well. So we'll see. But, guys, let me know your comments on the game tonight. Yeah, sometimes if players want to coach, that's not a good sign.